Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Carrie with Bayou Mandala, and today I thought we would paint this cute little cutting board as part of our creative Christmas ideas on a budget. I think I got like a pack of 6 of these little cutting boards off of Amazon, and I will put the link in your description box below. And they also, I don't think they come with them, but you can order these cute little knives to go along with it. You can use it as a cheese board, a little mini charcuterie board. What I'm going to do is actually, I made some homemade jelly, so I'm gonna get some biscuits, the homemade jelly, the little knife and the cutting board, and kind of put those all together, and I'm gonna give those to my sister-in-laws for Christmas. So we'll go ahead and get started painting on this, and I will go over the colors that I used for this. It's going to be a poinsettia themed cutting board, so the colors I'm going to use are Tuscan red, saffron yellow, and Hauser dark green. I think that's how you pronounce that. And then I'm going to use, for some little accent colors, this extreme sheen in ruby and peridot, my birthstone. Not using any of that. And then afterwards, when we glaze it, I'm going to use this DecoArt Duraglaze Dura Clear Gloss Varnish. I had thought about using the Mod Podge dishwasher safe as to kind of coat it, you know, the part that we painted anyway, but the one that I have, I've obviously had for quite some time, and it's gotten kind of thick and nasty, and I don't know for sure how it will dry on there, and I really don't want it to like have a matte finish to it. So and just tell whoever you give these to, you know, you'll be able to hand wash these, and you're still going to have a good portion of this cutting board that they can cut on, as far as, you know, not worrying about getting, you know, anything up by the paint. They can also too just use this as something decorative. They don't have to actually physically use it if they don't want to, but they can, and I hope they do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a 6-segment stencil from Happy Dotting Company, and we're just going to do kind of a half design. So I'm going to do some little half petals right here on the side, so I do want to have some of this guide mark visible on my board. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, eyeball it, line it up the best that I can. Then I'm going to take my little white chalk pencil. I'll put these down in the description. I use these, and I love to use this one too, just because it has a finer point on it. You can see that. But sometimes it doesn't mark as well on certain surfaces, so I'm going to use this charcoal pencil here instead. So I'm just going to kind of go through here. I'm not going to worry about those too much. Just do some little guide marks. Did y'all have a good weekend? I had a cookie exchange on Saturday. It was very nice. It was fun. Ate way too many sweets. Made a couple different types of cookies that I had never made before, but there weren't any leftovers, so they must have been pretty good. I brought a big box of cookies home, and my youngest, who is 16, pretty sure he just took a bite out of every cookie that was in the box. I was like, seriously, dude? But what can you say? He's a teenager. He doesn't know any better. Well, he should, but he doesn't. All right, so now we have our guide marks drawn on. And this is really going to be a pretty simple, easy, fast project to do. I didn't want to do something that was going to be, you know, too terribly time consuming, and you do have to kind of wait in between stages of doing it, you know, as far as after you paint, you need to let it dry before you put your top brush strokes on, and then you have to wait for it to dry before you put your gloss varnish on. So what I actually did is I've already painted 2 other ones so that we can kind of move through the process and I can show you everything. But what I'm going to start off first is with the Tuscan Red. I have my paint in a bag here because I was working on these earlier. Put a little bit more of this red in here. And we're just going to make petals using brush strokes. And I'm going to use this Zooting 000 brush first. And then I'm going to dip into my paint. Get a good amount on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start right where this bottom guide mark is. I'm not going to fill anything in here in the center just yet because we're going to come in and just do a bunch of dots. So I don't need to do, you know, like a dot and then circular dots around it. So I'm just going to kind of apply pressure, kind of go right around where that guide mark is, and then come to a point. And we get like just this real pretty petal design right there. And now I'm gonna skip one and go on to the next one. And this one we're gonna do one on each side. Press down, release up on it, and come to a nice point. So how have y'all been doing? We have had some seriously cold weather, and I live in Louisiana. Monday morning when I woke up, it was 24 degrees outside. Miserable. I hate being cold. And it's so humid down here. It's just so damp. So it's like you're cold all the way through to your bones. But it did give me an excuse to have 2 really nice fires, which I appreciate. Well, we are in the serious countdown for Christmas. Are y'all ready? Again, I'm just going to do a half one here. I cannot believe there is only 9 days till Christmas. It's really kind of making me a little nauseous. Just, you know, hoping everything shows up when it says it's going to show up. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to do some leaves right here. And again, kind of the same idea as far as the brush stroke, but we're going to go in with this dark green color. Load up our brush, and we're just going to kind of go right in between where these 2 red ones are. Now your first brush stroke, you can start up a little bit higher if you want to. Press down, come down and around. Pick up some more paint, and then this one I'm going to go just a little further down here. And again, same idea. Apply pressure and then let up as you get towards the end. Get a nice leaf point there. And we're just going to keep going. Y'all can do any kind of design you want to on here. I just wanted to kind of do something that was a little festive looking, and I love poinsettias. They're probably one of my most favorite flowers. They're just so beautiful and vibrant. It just reminds me of Christmas. All right. Rinse off your brush and dry that. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back in with the red and I'm going to kind of fill in these petals here with a couple of extra brush strokes. With the leaves, I'm actually going to go in and just do a bunch of random sized dots. And you could do that with the petals too if you wanted to, but I'm going to do these brush strokes right here. So I'm going to start on these here on either side. I'm going to start here at the bottom. Press down. I'm going to kind of just go up and around here. And then I'm going to do one that just goes straight down. Now I did tape this off when I painted it in the black. I had tried to tape off all the way around it, but my painter's tape was not sticking. So I just tried to be very careful not to get any paint on the sides. You can always paint the sides if you want to. It's totally up to you. I had done a couple where I had painted the sides and then I resined them, and it was just really hard to get my resin to look good around the edges here. So it's kind of why I went with just the varnish for now. But again, y'all can resin it if you are comfortable doing resin. I just find that every time I try to do it, it just never turns out the way I want it to. I don't know if it's the resin that I'm using or my technique, which could very well be it. All right, so again, I'm just gonna kind of fill in these petals here. All right, get me caught up on any good Christmas movies y'all are watching or books you've read. I just joined the Book of the Month Club, and for my first book, I got Good Spirits. I haven't started reading it yet, but I think it's about a girl who falls in love with a ghost, or a guy who falls in love with a ghost. I'm not sure who is deceased in the book, but looks like a super cute, feel good kind of Christmas book. If I can get around to reading it before Christmas is over, I'll let y'all know how it was. All right, and so we'll let this dry. Well, I'm gonna do the dots on the green, but after the red dries, we'll go in with that ruby and kind of just do a couple little accent brush strokes there, just to kind of, I don't know, make it shiny. Who doesn't like shiny? All right, now I'm going to dip to the dark green with a number 3 dotting tool, and seriously, just like random dots. And we'll go back in with, I'm just going to flip it over and I'll use the 1.5 end of my dotting stylus. And these are Happy Dotting Company dotting styluses, and I will put the link for these also in the description down below, as well as the brush I used, the paint, and if there's ever anything that y'all want a coupon, or not a coupon code, a link for, just let me know. I don't have any coupon codes for anything. But if I ever get any for anything good, I'll let you know. Be more than happy to pass them on, because who doesn't like a deal? All right, I'm gonna go in now with my number 1 dotting tool and kind of just fill in some of the areas here. And look, this is all completely random. No rhyme or reason. Just trying to make sure that they don't touch each other. Which is sometimes inevitable. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do the yellow. We're going to kind of do the same concept as we did with the leaves. I'm going to go in with this, again, number 3 dotting tool in the saffron yellow, and we're just gonna start just doing some dots. Y'all have any family coming in from out of town, or are y'all going anywhere for Christmas? We are going to my sister-in-law's in New Orleans Christmas Day, so my older kids will come over, 2.5, will come over in the morning, and we'll do gifts and things, and then we'll load up and head to the Big Easy. The weather is supposed to be beautiful Christmas Day, so hopefully it stays that way. All right, going in with the 1.5, and literally we're just filling in spots here. And you could do this too. It'd be really pretty if you used a gold and did this. Or, you know, a lighter yellow. And let's see. What else has been going on? I don't know. I'm just dealing with all this cold. I have chickens, so trying to make sure that they stay warm. Luckily, I don't have anything really out in the garden right now. I was super excited. I grew turmeric this year for the first time, and I didn't think anything was going to happen with it because it took forever for it to even sprout. But I did harvest some the other day, and I was so excited about the amount that I had. This is the 1 millimeter. And so I'm going to juice a bunch of it and make some wellness shots. And then it says you can freeze it for up to 6 months. So that'll be perfect because I have a bunch and I don't want any of it to go to waste. Stuff's so expensive when you go to buy it at the store. It's like $15 a pound, something like that. Kind of ridiculous, but it does take forever to grow. I planted ginger also, but it's not quite ready to harvest yet. So I had all that covered up during all this cold. I don't know, this just looks funny here. All right, let me see, I'm gonna put one over here because, all right, there we go. All right, and what we can do too while all this is drying is I'm gonna do some just kind of a gold accent border type of thing. So I'm gonna dip into my paint here. And I'm just gonna kind of drag it down, lift it up. Do the same on both sides. Just to add a little sparkle to it. Try not to stick my hand in my paint here. And so I have another one of these that's finished to this point. Clean off my brush. And then I'm just going to take my number 2 dotting tool here, dip back into the gold, and I'm just going to do just a couple little dots right here. Y'all can go all the way around with the gold, you know, with the brush if you want. I think the mailman just pulled up in my yard, so if you hear my dog barking, I apologize in advance. He is all bark, no bite. All right, so here is where we are so far. Very pretty. So I am going to put this one aside and grab another one that I have that is already dry. Here we go. Look, it's like magic. So here we're gonna do our little accent brush strokes on here. So I'm gonna take the Extreme Sheen in the Ruby and I'm gonna just kind of you can do it wherever you want to. Just do some little brush strokes here like this. To make it sparkle some. Always watch your hand placement so you don't get your hand in your paint. We do have a really pretty glitter paint as well. DecoArt makes it. I think it's called like Extreme Glitter or something like that. That would be really pretty to use too, but I wasn't sure how easy it was to find. So I wanted to use something that I know you could get your hands on. Weird hand placement here, but got it done. All right, clean off the brush. And then we are going to go in with the peridot color. And we're going to do some little accents here on these leaves. Are y'all big cookies for your neighbors, people? Or goodies? Or I used to do a pumpkin log, like a big sponge cake with like a cream cheese, pumpkin, confectionery sugar filling in it. I used to do those every year for my neighbors. And I would make it like a huge, like assembly line, and I would bake the sponge, roll it out, and I would just then I would let it cool, and then I would fill it, roll it, set it aside, go to the next one. I had it to where I was doing like 12 of them at a time. And they were so good, but I kind of got out of the habit of doing it and haven't really given out cookies to any of my neighbors in a while, but I think my mom and my daughter are coming over on Saturday. We're gonna bake cookies, so if I have enough left over, I will bring them to some of my neighbors. All right, so here we are so far. Very pretty. So I'm gonna put this aside and let this dry, and I'm gonna grab this one. So here is one that I already did. It's got the pretty accent paint on it already. So I just wanted to have this one prepared to show you just how I apply the varnish. I mean, it's not rocket science. I'm sure y'all can figure it out, but I thought I'd do it with you. So what I'm going to do first is wipe off these guide marks here. And then just dry it really well. And then I am going to go in with, I don't know, you can just grab a brush. I don't think it matters really, you know, what size it is. And I'm just going to squirt some of this into my little paint well. Most of the time I just squirt it right on top of the design, but try and be professional and not teach y'all my bad habits. So then we're just going to brush it on here. I want to be careful because I don't want it to drip down the sides, and that's why I wanted to tape it all off, but I don't know why my tape wasn't sticking. But it's all right. And I will probably do 2 coats, kind of see how this looks after it dries. I'm always so much happier with my paintings after I put the varnish on them. Just so pretty and shiny. And I figure I'll be able to, I'm gonna try and at least do one more video. I was thinking it would be fun, I don't know, if you have people in your life that are big book people, you could, thought it'd be fun just to do a little bookmark, and you could always, you know, get them a book that they've had on their list and stick a homemade pretty bookmark in there for them. That would be a really nice gift. I'd be happy with that gift. And then we'll kind of go from there and see how much time. I might try and put another video up this week, just so I can get y'all a couple more easy gift giving ideas. And that's it for right now. I'll let it dry and then I'll see how it looks. And what I might do is I will do a little short video after everything dries and kind of show you how everything looks all together with like the little thing of jelly and the knife and, you know, maybe a nice little bow or something. But that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Kind of short and sweet today, which is good. If you enjoyed it, you know, like, subscribe, share, and I will be back here with you guys again, probably closer towards the end of the week, to have that other video up. And remember, if your dots aren't perfect, neither are mine, so don't worry about it. Just have fun. Love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Be safe.